Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's fourth and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's final video. Day 10 will take us to the 5th of October, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with extended GFS and ECM ensembles, where runs around a couple of weeks. Have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which takes us well into the second half of October. I shall get on that for you in a second. Just to say about the first video release day was our 7 AM forecast. We also released the week ahead forecast, as always on Saturday, your week ahead look ahead. And if that wasn't enough, the first season model roundup for winter 2021-2022 has been released. Gets together 16 long range models, see what they're all showing for the winter. So it's an epic video, that check it out and see, you know, what the opening salvo from the long range models you got to say about this coming winter. So it's been a busy day at GavsWeatherVids. Hope you're having a lovely Saturday. I shall get on with your 10 to 14 day event, and we're going to begin in the tropical Atlantic. Now, 3 interest areas. Let's do a Teresa first of all. So this is Tropical Storm Teresa. Now this has developed from, it's reanimated from Odette. So remember we had Tropical Storm Odette, I think it was. I don't think Odette reached hurricane status, but we had Tropical Storm Odette that went post-tropical, and then just, you know, became like an interest area. But they was always saying that the remains of Odette might redevelop, and indeed I think Odette has done, and it's become Tropical Storm Teresa. This is going nowhere, really, just in the middle of the North Atlantic, and will be dissipating very shortly. So at the moment, Tropical Storm Teresa is just there. Will become a tropical depression later on today, and then will go post-tropical by tonight and into tomorrow, and that will be the end of the very, very short-lived Teresa. Certainly not strong and stable, that one. Right, we've also got this yellow X just here, which is Disturbance 1. Now, that's just giving a 10% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, and a 20% chance in the next 5 days. I don't think you have to worry too much about that. Excuse me. All the focus is now on Hurricane Sam. So Hurricane Sam is giving maximum sustained winds now of 110 miles per hour, with a minimum central pressure of 973 millibars. And Sam is moving west-northwestwards at 13 miles per hour. On the cusp of becoming a major hurricane, at any moment, this will become a Category 3 hurricane. Will stay as a major hurricane. So this is a very long-lasting storm. Staying as a major hurricane all the way out to Thursday. Just here. So it's going to be a very slow-moving, major, intense, tropical hurricane, I should say. Major hurricane. All the way out to the middle of next week, where it will be, you know, somewhere to the east of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. So we want to go to discussion, and these are the forecast winds with this system. So being forecast to reach at its peak in around 36 to 48 hours time, being forecast to reach 140 miles per hour, which gets it into Category 4 hurricane status. This is going to become a Category 4 hurricane if the prediction is right in a couple of days' time. Very, 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 very severe hurricane, of course, out in sea, so not impacting at the moment any sort of land areas. Going down in 5 days' time, going down to 125 miles per hour, which is back to Category 3 status. But, of course, might power up again after that, who knows. But, yeah, this is a very, very intense storm, Hurricane Sam, and going to be a long-lasting major hurricane as well. So where Sam ends up going will be interesting to see, and all eyes will be on Major Hurricane Sam in the next few days. Right, coming back to home, the Saturday temperature for September is still sitting at 16.8, an anomaly of 3 degrees above average. So that's going to hold steady, may even tick up slightly over this weekend. It is a very warm weekend we've got coming up. Then next week, that's going to do a little bit of a plummet, I think, through the middle part of next week in particular. So eventually, we're probably going to finish around 16 degrees of a CT for this September. GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking like this. So we're running out of road with this very warm weather. The red line is 30-year upper air temperature average for London, and we're starting off warm at the moment, significantly warmer than average. But we are going to be seeing a change, over the weekend into the early part of next week. The cool down takes place. And beyond that, there's no sign that we go back to these excessive warm conditions, very close to average with the upper air temperatures at times, possibly even a bit below. There might be a bit of a zonal sine wave opening up there as well, so you might be starting to see some warmer and cooler sectors alternating. But overall, it looks like once we get this weekend out of the way, there will be a significant drop in the temperature, and autumn will be well and truly commencing. Precipitation-wise, so I've got another day or so of reasonably dry weather to come, but from sunny night Monday onwards, right way through next week, it looks very unsettled with regular rainfall spikes, really quite large rainfall spikes as well. So we could be entering, a really wet start to October. Maybe a little bit of a drying trend, though, starting to appear towards the end of the first week of October and into the second week of the month. Of course, that is very extended range, and in the unreliable time frame of the GFS and its ensembles. But it is possible we might have a bit of a drying trend there into the second week of October. Temperature anomalies on the 25th of September to the 3rd of October going to be warmer than average. And look at this, precipitation anomalies from the 25th of September to the 3rd of October going to be average or wetter than average. Something we've not been able to say for a very, very long time, since way back in August, I reckon, that the last time we had wetter than average precipitation anomalies on these charts. So, yes, really significant change coming up over the next few days. Latest win from that from earthnotschool.net shows that still the high pressure is clinging on by its fingertips, still hang in there, keeping all of the low pressure. There's a lot of low pressure now in the Atlantic at bay just. This is a cold front just here that will be pushing eastwards through the course of tomorrow and tomorrow night and into Monday. There's Tropical Storm Teresa as well there, by the way. Very lively Atlantic, high pressure just about still clinging on by its fingertips, holding off below pressure, but not for much longer. Below pressure will be breaking through by tomorrow night and into Monday. And so this how the UK Met is looking for midnight on Tuesday, by which time the low pressure is completely broken through, and we're into a very different sort of regime with Atlantic-driven weather. Child low pressure moves through Tuesday through to Wednesday, will bring some heavy rain, but maybe a little bit of a transient ridge on Wednesday, but quickly flattened off as low pressure comes in off the Atlantic. So the coming week is going to be unsettled. There may be a few windows of drier weather here and there, but it's going to be an unsettled week. And a lot cooler as well. That's as far as we get to with the UK Met, which gets us to midnight on Saturday, 2nd of October. Right, let's have a look at the GFS midnight run then. And again, low pressure is in off the Atlantic as we go through Tuesday. So low pressure right over top of the country, you see there, like Tuesday through to Wednesday, will bring heavy rain into many areas. So a little bit of a transient ridge, quickly flattened off Wednesday into Thursday. It's just generally wet and windy, as we go through next weekend with showers or longer spells of rain. It means unsettled conditions continue up to day 10 as well, which is the 5th of October. Got another area of low pressure there across southern England and northern France. Could bring a bit of a deluge to the south if that comes off at that point. In more extended range, going through go to the end of the first week of October into the second week of October, we do start to build up some higher pressure. We talked about this in the video yesterday 10 to 14 days, but we may start to see some higher pressure developing into the second week of October. If it does, we do see high pressure coming back. I think it will be a cooler ridge, at least initially, anyway, and may even bring some ground frost But a return to dry weather maybe into the second week of October. High pressure is trying to get itself to Scandinavia there. The 6Z looks like this. Again, this is the very latest GFS run. Once more, low pressure dominates the weather from Monday through to Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll try to build up a little bit of transient ridge, but it's very quickly flattened off by the next low rolling in from the Atlantic. Again, very unsettled towards the end of the week with deep low pressure, bringing heavy rain and strong winds as well. Means really unsettled, wet conditions carry on into next weekend. So yeah, I mean, looking at that, that's 6 a.m. on Sunday, and there's a really deep area of low pressure pushing northwards. That will bring a bit of a deluge across England and Wales next Sunday, for example. It's a long way off. It may not verify, but it's just the idea that this is a very unsettled pattern that we are entering into for the start of October. Moving beyond day 10, we start to get this ridge building out to our west. That's going to pull wind into the northeast if it comes off. So it'll be quite chilly as we come towards the end of the first week of October. We'll start to turn a little bit dry. And the high pressure eventually sort of takes over across the country. So a lot of dry weather then as we go into the second week of October. But again, I have to emphasise, where the upper air temperature probably are quite warm, it is a cooler ridge overall that, and will probably deliver mist and fog by night, and possibly some ground frost as well. GM looks like this. So again, if you enjoyed the video, by the way, please smash the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment after the video. Let us know what you think. GM looks like this. Again, very unsettled for the early part of the coming week. Low pressure is going to be in the ascendancy, and this low pressure just keeps coming as we go through into the end of the week and into next weekend as well. GM looks really wet and windy. So this is a very, very, very unsettled pattern that we're entering into for the beginning of October. By day 10, which is Tuesday the 5th of October, we might just be starting to see the low pressure slipping southwards, possibly signs of that low pressure coming cut off to our south. A ridge building to the north and west of below might start taking us back some higher pressure towards the end of the first week of October. And then the ECM looks like that. So once more, all much of a muchness for the coming week. Going to be very unsettled week with low pressure, bringing in lots of heavy rain. There will be windows of drier weather at times, but overall a really unsettled pattern right way up to next weekend. Low pressure is in control and in the ascendancy of the weather. By the time we get through to day 10, which is the 5th of October, we might just be seeing a few indications of some height rises close to the country that might deliver us into something a little bit drier by the end of the first week of October. Precipitation-wise, it's going to be plenty of dry weather for much of this weekend, but this is a cold front coming into the west by the end of tomorrow afternoon, and then that sweeps eastwards with its heavy rain overnight Sunday into Monday, leading to lots of showers and longer spells of rain through next week, with bouts of rain regularly coming and going, heavy rain at times, and particularly focused on more southern areas, interestingly, as we get into next weekend and beyond. Up to day 10, we might be starting to see signs of things going a little bit drier then. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met. Obviously gets us to the 5th of October. 16 members of the ECM ensembles have low pressure way to our northwest. High pressure is to our east. That looks pretty unsettled, bringing winds from southwest. 14 including the control and the operational run, trying to raise heights a little bit to our south and southeast. At that point, low pressure beginning to slip away to the south, perhaps coming a cut-off low type feature. That might be starting to trend back towards higher pressure, drier conditions. 12 with low pressure right over top of the country. That's very unsettled, of course. Another 6 to add to that was more or less identical, just slightly different in the places of below, but basically still over top of the country. So those are the two most unsettled options, with 12 there and the 6 there. They're the most unsettled options. And then this one is probably the driest option, only 3 though, ridging up high pressure from the south. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. It'll get us to the 10th of October. 18 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure just to our west. So that's turning dry, but it's quite cool with winds in from the northwest. 12 with high pressure reaching through the country and going up to Scandinavia. That's going to be mainly dry, but probably not overly warm. Remember, I've been talking about this a lot in the videos. If we get the high pressure back in, it is likely to be a cooler ridge than what we've had in September, in October. unless it's pulling up like a proper southerly or something. Generally, the high pressure will be cooler if it does come back in October. And if it gets to Scandinavia and we start pulling in east winds, they will actually start getting a chill to them in October. 10 just here, still have low pressure though, driving in off the Atlantic, so they're going to be very unsettled, of course. 7 with high pressure just to our east and also to our west. And then there's probably a bit of a trough coming through here, so that could be a bit cool and showering. And then 4 with high pressure, more or less right over top of the country. That'll be mostly dry. Could be a little bit on the chilly side if we're pulling in the winds from the northeast. It looks like we might get ourselves back to high pressure into the second week of October, I have to say. But I suspect it will be a cooler ridge than we've had in September, maybe quite significantly so. Last thing to look at is CFS V2. So these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly pairs. The first week pair will take from the 25th of September to the 1st of October. Coming week is going to be unsettled with low pressure dominating, so cool and unsettled. Week 2 also looks very unsettled. This is the 2nd to the 8th of October again. Low pressure is in from the Atlantic into Northern Europe. That's going to be another cool and unsettled week for the first week of October. Bit of a change to week 3. This is the 9th to the 15th of October with high pressure developing to our south and southwest, building northwards. It's going to be mainly dry and it should be warming up a little bit as well if we're pulling up wind from the southwest. And then week 4 will be the 16th to 22nd of October. High pressure is right in over top of the country then. So middle part of October turns much more settled. You know, it technically is probably quite a warm air mass building up with that, but it's not guaranteed to be overly warm, especially if we're getting clear, excuse me, especially if we're getting clear and cold nights with ground frost and mist and fog. You know, we're getting to that sort of time of the year now where the model, of course, will probably look at that and see a very warm week there because it'll be looking at the parameters within the upper atmosphere. But we are getting to that time of the year now. By the middle of October, the night's starting to get really long. And if we start getting fog and frost developing, or ground frost anyway, developing with that ridge, we're getting to a time of year where centrally located areas of high pressure, that pretty much is centrally located right over top of the country, centrally located areas of high pressure are not guaranteed to be overly warm, and in fact could be quite cool if we do start generating mist and fog that lingers well on into the day and whatnot. The season is changing and we are getting ever onwards through this autumn. Although we have not had any autumn yet, but the time of year, middle of October there, does suggest that we're well on into the autumn, and the ridges of high pressure, when they form, are likely to start getting a lot cooler. Right, I'm so sorry about it, off a tangent. Right, so if you enjoyed the video, then please give me a special like button. Make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. It's amazing, it's incredible. Thank you for doing this, GavsWeatherVids. And if you sub, though, you will be able to see future weather content, by the way, including future winter updates and live streams and more. So make sure you're subbed and tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. We're grinding to 13k, but we've got a long way to go. Okay, so that's it for today's videos. Hope you enjoyed them all. Please like on the videos and whatnot. Thank you so much for doing that. I'll just tell you what's coming up tomorrow. We'll start off with 7 a.m. forecast. At 10 a.m. we will be releasing part 1 of the 4th winter 2021-2022 update. We'll be looking at things like sea surface temperature anomalies, solar activity, the QBO, Eurasian snow cover, and we'll have some more on the stratosphere over North Pole as well for you tomorrow. So that's all coming up from 10 a.m. And then there'll be a live stream from 6, and of course you'll have lots of questions, I'm sure, about that winter update. And because it's Sunday live stream, we'll show you some long range. We'll also show you the 10 to 14 day as well, as we won't be doing an upload for the 10 to 14 day video update tomorrow due to winter update. So we'll include the 10 to 14 day within our live stream, but as well as that, we will show you some long range, almost certainly a bit of a CFS special. And then don't forget part 2 of the 4th winter update will be released at 6 p.m. on Monday. Right, you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I shall see you tomorrow either for the winter update, that'll be released at 10 AM, or for the live stream at 6 PM. But for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.